Hey, Steelers Nation. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another full edition of your favorite space for all things black and gold, where passion meets precision, and where we break down everything happening with our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Buckle up, because this one's going to be deep. The team is going through one of those moments that really defines a season, and maybe even something beyond that. We're talking about the kind of stretch where you find out who's built for the grind and who's just hanging on. So, here's the reality. The Steelers have been solid in stretches, no doubt about it, but they still haven't solved the one issue that's haunted them all year: turning drives into touchdowns. Scoring is the essence of football. It's what wins games, and yet, for whatever reason, Pittsburgh continues to come up short once they reach the red zone. Instead of punching it in, they're settling for field goals, and that pattern is starting to define their identity. Just look at what happened against the Packers last Sunday. Plenty of opportunities, plenty of movement, but too many kicks and not enough six-point finishes. It's not that the offense is incapable of moving the chains. It's that they're missing that killer instinct when it matters most. What's more, this team isn't built to rely on those explosive, game-breaking plays that can flip the scoreboard in a heartbeat. You might get a 20 or 30-yard burst here and there, and sure, you'll take those all day. But those 80-yard, take-it-to-the-house kind of moments, they're not part of this offense's DNA right now. And honestly, that's okay, as long as they find another way to control games. Because if there's one area where this offense can build a real identity, it's time of possession. A steady, reliable rushing attack that wears down defenses and keeps the other team's offense watching from the sideline. That's gold. That's the kind of strategy that can mask other weaknesses and give the defense room to breathe. Speaking of that, the dynamic inside the locker room has shifted in a way nobody saw coming. For years, the defense carried the torch. They were the loud ones, the confident ones, the backbone of the team. But right now, it's almost flipped. The defensive guys, usually the swaggering voices in that room, are quieter than usual. They've been hard on themselves, frustrated, probably knowing they're not playing at the level they expect. And meanwhile, the offensive players, who took plenty of criticism early in the season, suddenly seem a little lighter, a little more talkative. You can see it in the body language, in the smiles during practice, in the way they're starting to believe they can actually drive this team forward. It's been a long time since we could say that about the Steelers' offense, and seeing that change unfold has been fascinating. And when you trace the reason behind this turnaround, it starts with one man, Aaron Rodgers. Say what you want about him, but his presence, his calm, and his leadership are reshaping the team's energy. He's not the loud motivator type, but when he speaks, everyone listens. He knows when to push, when to challenge, and when to step back and let his teammates handle their business. That balance has been critical, especially during a stretch where chaos could easily take over. You can tell Rodgers brings a level of professionalism and perspective that this locker room desperately needed. He's practical to the core. He's not here for drama. He's here to win. Whether it's giving his receivers feedback, holding himself accountable, or even throwing subtle challenges to the coaching staff, he walks that fine line with confidence. There's something about his tone that just settles everything down. He doesn't panic after losses. He doesn't overreact after wins. When he talks about staying the course, it feels believable. After the tough loss to Cincinnati, he told the media they didn't need a morale boost. They just needed to stay disciplined. That's not just talk. That's a guy who understands the grind of a long season and the value of steady leadership. Now, don't get it twisted. No amount of leadership alone is going to fix the 32nd ranked pass defense in the league. You can't intangibles your way out of that kind of problem. You need players who make plays. You need a defense that tackles, pressures, and forces mistakes. Still, Rodgers' composure keeps the team from spiraling when the defense struggles. He's been the calm within the storm, and for a group that's seen its fair share of adversity, that matters more than people realize. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are genuine signs of progress, especially on the offensive side. Over the past few games, the Steelers have quietly put together a string of consistent performances. Look back at what started overseas. That game in Dublin might have been a turning point. 24 points against Minnesota, 23 against Cleveland, 31 against Cincinnati, and 25 against Green Bay. Those are solid numbers. And while it wasn't enough to win them all, it showed something we hadn't seen in a while: rhythm. Offensive rhythm. Drives that flowed. Plays that build on each other instead of feeling disjointed. Rodgers' stat line from last week tells the story. 24 completions on 36 attempts for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's not eye-popping, but it's efficient, composed football, the kind you can win with. Sure, the 3 sacks were frustrating, especially considering how smart he usually is with the ball. Holding on too long isn't something we're used to seeing from him, and he'll know that has to change. But overall, his decision-making was solid. Then there's the running game, which might just be the key to unlocking this offense's potential. Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell are forming a nice 1-2 punch, complementing each other beautifully. 13 carries for Warren, 5 for Gainwell, and nearly 100 yards combined. That kind of balance is exactly what the Steelers have been missing. It takes pressure off the quarterback, opens up play action, and allows the offensive line to impose its will. When you can establish that rhythm on the ground, everything else starts to flow. And let's give credit where it's due. DK Metcalf continues to be a crucial piece. He's the guy you have to keep involved every single game. 5 catches, 55 yards, steady as always fighting for extra yards. Roman Wilson, on the other hand, really broke out last game. For catches for 74 yards and that 45-yard touchdown, that's the kind of spark this offense needed. When Wilson is clicking like that, the field opens up for everyone else. Not everyone had their best day, though. Calvin Austin is still shaking off rust from his recent injury. For catches, 28 yards, and a few missed chances, he'll want that one back. But he's got talent, and you can tell the team still believes in him. They know what he can bring when fully healthy. The tight ends are steady, too. Darnell Washington had to take on extra blocking duties with the injuries up front, while Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth chipped in with a couple of solid catches each. It's not flashy, but it's functional, and that's the theme of this offense right now: function over flair. What stands out the most is how much this unit is beginning to resemble the vision they had back at training camp in St. Vincent. It's starting to come together piece by piece, drive by drive. You can see the chemistry developing, the confidence growing, and the communication improving. And for a fan base that's been waiting years to see a Steelers offense truly carry the team, this might just be the start of something. Imagine if they can keep that rhythm going heading into Sunday against a 7-1 opponent. Imagine if, just once, the offense could be the reason the Steelers walk away with a win. Not the defense, not special teams, but the offense taking over and dictating the outcome. It feels like it's been a decade since that happened. But if there's ever been a moment for that to change, this is it. The pieces are there, the leadership is there, and the belief is starting to return. All that's left now is to execute. All right, Steelers Nation, let's keep rolling and dive even deeper into what's going on with this team, because the story doesn't stop at rhythm and leadership. There are still critical questions hanging over Pittsburgh, and understanding those could be the difference between a breakthrough week and another missed opportunity. The first thing you have to talk about is personnel and how the coaches are managing the roster. Injuries, rotations, and snap counts are creating a puzzle that needs to be solved before the next game. Every position has a ripple effect. If a starting guard goes down, it's not just a replacement stepping in. It changes the chemistry of the line, the timing of the handoffs, and the quarterback's confidence in his protection. Take Deshaun Elliott's spot, for instance. Whoever fills that role is going to carry a lot of responsibility, especially in a game where every yard matters. And then you layer in the uncertainty at left guard with Isaac Salo potentially out because of that pec injury from Sunday night. These are not small pieces. These are foundational spots on the field. The coaching staff has to figure out not just who can physically step in, but who can maintain the flow, who can execute without creating chaos, and who can be trusted when the game is on the line. That's a tall order, but it's the reality of life in the NFL, especially for a team like the Steelers that's still trying to find its identity this season. Rotation is another layer of complexity. How often do you rotate your defensive linemen? How do you manage the snaps of your linebackers so they stay fresh but still impactful? Do you move a player like TJ Watt across the line to create mismatches or relieve pressure elsewhere? And what about bringing Nick Herbig back onto the field? Every decision has consequences, and the coaching staff has to weigh short-term gain against long-term sustainability. That's the kind of chess match happening behind the scenes that fans often don't see, but that could define a season. On top of all that, the Steelers are about to face a formidable opponent in Indianapolis. The Colts aren't just any team. Their offensive line and running game function with a cohesion that's rare in today's league. Jonathan Taylor is obviously a force, but it's the synergy between him and his blockers that really stands out. Watching tape, you notice how instinctive everything looks, the way they anticipate defensive shifts, the way they open lanes seemingly out of nowhere. It's a level of unity and timing that demands respect, and that will challenge Pittsburgh's defensive front in ways that are subtle but critical. You can't just stop the running back. You have to disrupt the entire operation, and that's where the Steelers' defense will need to rise to the occasion. Speaking of the defense, there's still work to do. They're not going to magically climb out of the bottom rankings without effort and execution. The pressure is real, the mistakes have been costly, and the room for error is slim. But if the offensive rhythm we've talked about continues, if Rodgers and the skill players keep producing smart, efficient football, it can give the defense the breathing room to recover. Time of possession isn't just a number, it's a weapon. The more the offense can keep the ball, the less the defense is on the field, and the fresher they are when it's their turn to make the big plays that change games. That's why the running game remains so crucial. Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell have the chance to be more than just backups. They can be rhythm setters. Establishing a consistent ground attack forces the opposing defense to respect every level of the field. When that happens, the passing game opens naturally. Metcalf staying involved, Roman Wilson's big plays, and even the tight ends contributing in small but meaningful ways create a balanced attack. When all those pieces operate together, it's hard to predict and even harder to stop. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers around the NFL landscape have suddenly turned into a roar. Courtland Sutton is reportedly set to don the black and gold, and the Pittsburgh Steelers appear poised to make him the centerpiece of their red zone attack. While the organization has yet to release a full statement, insiders suggest that the deal is all but done, sending shockwaves through both AFC and NFC circles. Sutton, known for his towering presence and ability to pluck seemingly impossible catches out of the air, could be exactly what the Steelers have been craving to ignite their offense in the most crucial stretches of the game. Sources close to the team describe the move as strategic and bold, hinting at an aggressive shift in Pittsburgh's offensive philosophy. The veteran receiver's knack for finding space in tight quarters and his reputation as a reliable target near the end zone make him an immediate candidate for red zone domination. Rumors began circulating after Sutton's agent was spotted at Heinz Field, and whispers inside the locker room suggest that coaches are already envisioning him as the focal point of their scoring drives. Fans on social media have gone into a frenzy, imagining highlight reels of Sutton leaping over defenders in front of the raucous Pittsburgh crowd. The excitement isn't just online. Season ticket holders and local sports bars are buzzing with speculation about what this signing could mean for the Steelers' playoff ambitions. Skeptics caution that integration into a new system can take time, but those familiar with Sutton's game insist he's the type of player who can adapt quickly and make an immediate impact. Comparisons to some of Pittsburgh's greatest red zone threats are already beginning to surface, with analysts pointing out his size, hands, and route-running precision as key attributes that could rejuvenate an offense hungry for reliable scoring options. While the ink on the contract may still be drying, the chatter is undeniable. Courtland Sutton in Pittsburgh could redefine the Steelers' identity in the red zone. If the rumors hold true, opposing defenses may soon find themselves staring down one of the NFL's most dangerous targets in the most unforgiving part of the field. The buzz has only just begun, and one thing is certain. Steelers fans are ready to welcome a new era of high-flying end-zone theatrics. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.